Sir, I rise to support the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Bill 2020, which seeks to safeguard the physical and mental health. Thank you. Safeguard the physical and mental health as well as the well-being of women by making safe and legal abortion services accessible to them. It also seeks to ensure dignity, confidentiality, reproductive autonomy, and justice for women who need to terminate pregnancy. So if we study the evolution of abortion laws in India, we realize that it has taken a period of 106 years for it to evolve from Section 312 of the Indian Penal Code 1860 where abortions were criminalized, to the Dr. Shantilal Shah Committee report in 1966, which recommended that reproductive laws and abortion need to be regulated in our country. This resulted in the MTP Act of 1971, which is the Parent Act, and which for the first time recognized the importance of termination of certain pregnancies by registered medical practitioners, and also recognized for the first time the importance of safe, affordable and accessible abortion services for women. So if we compare India's position with the rest of the world vis-a-vis abortion laws, we find that the world is essentially divided into two groups. One,
Madam, 1 minute. If House will permit, we can extend time till the bill will be passed. Because this is a women issue, we have to be passed. Okay, please come.
Okay, sir. So, as I was saying, that the world is essentially divided into two major lobbies or groups. One which is pro-life and one which is pro-choice. According to the data provided by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, sir, there are 5 categories. The first category where abortions are prohibited altogether, and these comprise of, this category comprises of 26 countries. The second category permits abortions only to save a woman's life. This theory is subscribed to by 39 countries. The third category is to preserve health, which is followed by 5 countries. Then comes the fourth category, which is based on broad social or economic grounds, which permits abortion under broad range of circumstances, acknowledging women's actual or reasonably foreseeable environment and a social or economic circumstances. And India falls into this category, sir. The last and the 5th category is the category which believes that abortions should be performed on request, and the gestational limits vary in this category, which has 67 countries conforming to that theory. So during 2017 and 18, numerous cases and writ petitions were filed in the various courts in the country, including 26 petitions in the Honorable Supreme Court pertaining to MTP beyond the permissible legal limit of 20 weeks of gestation on the grounds of fetal abnormalities or pregnancies which were a result of sexual violence. Now, sir, recent reports have shown that more than 10 women die every day in India due to unsafe abortions. Besides that, 8% of the deaths in the maternal mortality data are due to unsafe abortions. A research paper published in the Lancet Global Health said a total of 15.6 million abortions were carried out in India in the year 2015, out of which 11.5 million took place outside the healthcare facilities. These are very alarming figures, sir. Now, maternal deaths due to unsafe abortions are preventable if performed by a trained practitioner using safe technology in a conducive environment. So this bill, the MTP Bill 2020, assumes greater significance as the Sustainable Development Goal for India aims to bring down the maternal mortality ratio from the current level of 122 per 1 lakh live births to 70 per 1 lakh live births by 2030. Hence, there is a greater need to make legal and safe abortion services available to women by increasing the legal limit of gestational age for abortion. Now, sir, as regards the amendments in the bill, the Honourable Minister has beautifully clarified everything, and as we all know that we have brought about amendments in this bill proposing requirement for opinion of one registered medical practitioner for termination of pregnancy up to 20 weeks of gestation, the requirement of opinion of 2 registered medical practitioners for termination of pregnancy of 20 to 24 weeks of gestation. So, if the registered medical practitioner is of the opinion that the continuation of the pregnancy may risk the life of the mother or cause grave mental or physical injury to the mother, then this abortion can be recommended by him. And also if there is substantial risk of fetal abnormalities. So, what I want to say here is that, you know, aborting a 24-week fetus is a huge responsibility. And our healthcare systems in rural India are, I feel, really not equipped to handle that. So my request to the Honourable Minister is that is something we really have to address in order to keep the mother safe post this 24-week termination of pregnancy. So the other amendment which has been proposed is the enhancing of the upper gestation limit from 20 to 24 weeks for survivors of rape victims, incest, minors and other vulnerable women, differently abled women. And this was very beautifully brought out by my colleague Srimati Jyotimani. Yet another proposed amendment is the upper gestation limit will not apply in cases of pregnancies with substantial fetal abnormalities which has been diagnosed by a medical board as may be prescribed under the rules made under this Act. So I must say here that I think the bill is really progressive. It has come a long way because this amendment, where if pregnancy occurs as a result of failure of contraceptive used by any woman or her partner, this clause, rather than a married woman, which was in the earlier bill, I think this is a revolutionary thing, and I must compliment the government that we are not living in denial. We are seeing what is happening around us, how society is progressing, and this will also help a lot of young women to deal with unwanted pregnancies, and they will not have to go to some quack to get rid of the pregnancy, and at least they will be able to have the pregnancy terminated lawfully and in a safe environment. So another very sensitive clause amendment which has really appealed to me the most and is the privacy confidentiality clause, sir. And this is going to encourage a lot of people from coming to the proper clinics, to the proper hospitals, getting the proper care, and maybe living longer because of this provision in the bill. And I'm very happy to see the sensitivity with which the government has approached this bill and brought in this clause, and the empathy which they have shown towards women and their welfare. It is absolutely laudable, sir. Sir, I feel that abortion in today's day and age is a right rather than a privilege, and MTP is a healthcare service. At least now a woman wanting to terminate an unwanted pregnancy doesn't have to go to court, because more often than not, when you approach the court, the litigant gets redressal at a much later period when the the prescribed gestational period is already over and done with. And this bill will help victims of sexual violence, incest, minors, unmarried women, as I've said before. It is, the bill stands testimony to the relentless efforts of our Honorable Prime Minister to empower women, I feel, whether financially, whether by acknowledging their right to work and livelihood, whether by acknowledging their right to education and therefore a chance to a better life, and lastly by acknowledging their right to life, right to health, right to scientific progress, right to privacy, and the right to reproductive autonomy. I absolutely welcome this revolutionary bill, sir, as it goes to show that since life is dynamic, the laws and constitution of India need to be regularly amended and upgraded as per the requirement of the day and age we live in. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.